we're backstage at Cross Festival, fall edition, of course. My name is Orly Gal. I'm reporting for 6 a.m. and for FMLA, and I'm with Farrago.
What's up, guys?
Sam just got off stage. How do you feel?
Pretty hyped. It's my first time playing San Diego, and I heard so much about Cross. It's one of the major festivals here for sure, and I looked forward to playing here for a long time, and I'm finally here. Crowd was amazing. I'm super happy.
I heard a little bit of maybe like an anime undertone to the vocals that you were playing.
You did?
Yes.
Anime as in the Japanese TV?
Japanese.
Okay. Well, I love anime. I know maybe subconsciously I'm selecting music that has influences from this culture. I'm not sure.
How do you go through your process selection for festivals?
I just start from the beginning, you know. I need a good intro, which I usually make myself, like an edit or full-on like original piece.
For every show is a different edit?
No. Like I have one for festivals, one for clubs, one for daytime, you know, nighttime, just like several. Then as you keep making more, you have a big like stash.
Yeah.
So I always have a good intro for the right moment. Then I usually prepare like my first 2-3 tracks just to get in the flow, and that's it. The rest is mostly comes from within or whatever, just reaction from the crowd. I do of course make playlists for every show to make like a quick selection of what I want to play.
Right.
Stuff that I think would work for this region or these kind of people that I'm expecting. I don't always stick to plan, that would be boring as hell.
Yes.
Let's say I leave the playlist within 15 minutes of playing.
So, speaking of daytime, nighttime festivals and song choice selection, what do you prefer?
I have to say I was really happy to see the sunset when I arrived, because for my music I would say I need to be in the dark, you know.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really translate very well when the sun's out, I would say, which is really hard when you're starting out as a DJ, because you get the early set times and then you always have to manage that. But those past few months and even years, I would say, I'm getting more prime time slots, you know, peak time. And at festivals, that's usually when the sun goes down and it's all good. I can just do my thing, feel good about it.
For sure. How do you feel about the fact that you're about to be a dad? Congratulations!
People keep telling me, my friends, that a father doesn't really know what's going on until he holds the baby for the first time. And I'm kind of hoping for some kind of awakening when that day comes, you know, because I don't realize what's going on around me at all. I
feel like it's gonna change a lot of things, of course, but it's definitely okay to be terrified. You can't control what's not, you know, in your hands exactly as you.
Terrified's good. Terrified's, it will, you know, make things move, make you realize that you have to work for it.
Are you guys taking like a leave of absence, like?
Yes.
Both of you?
Obviously she is, because, you know, right now this is the last weekend that we're touring together, and it's her final weekend, last weekend until, you know, the baby comes. I only take gigs that I can reach by car or train.
Okay.
So I can always, you know, make my way back in case she wasn't into labor or something.
Yeah, no, of
Or
course.
to be there, obviously. So no more like faraway gigs. I do have one festival gig at an island, which I'm not sure how I'm gonna manage that. We'll have to see. I'm kind of postponing making the decision of making a cancellation or not.
Have you guys even had the chance to like make a nursery, have like your own space, things like that?
No, because we were in Ibiza the whole summer for our exhale residency at DC10, and we just got home this week actually, and we're trying to put together everything now, but there's also the fact that we're moving into a new place when the baby's going to be about 4 or 5 months old. So we don't really see the point also in decorating a room that we're never going to use, because the baby sleeps next to you in this cute tiny bed that you put next to the bed, which I didn't know about this, but it's for breastfeeding at night, I guess.
Okay.
So the baby stays next to you for 4 or 5 months, and by that time we're gonna be into a new place, hopefully.
It's gotta be super excited. It's something very new for the both of you because you never have time to be at home. And being at home, are you guys excited
Just
or
during
terrified
COVID,
for
you know,
that?
we had a lot of time at home then.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it was amazing for the first 3 months.
We
After
did
that,
the
not
same.
so much.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Do you have any rituals before you go on stage?
Wish I did. That would be really cool to tell. I was into sports when I was younger, and some guys I looked up to, they were very religious, and before they got onto the pitch, they used to touch the sideline and then make a little cross, and I think that was so cool. I'm not religious
Was
at
it
all.
skateboarding? The sports?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention soccer.
Oh, soccer.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I need a ritual like this actually.
You have nothing that you do before you go on stage. You're super calm, no nerves,
I
nothing
want to say
that
I
goes
always
on the
visit the toilet. That's a ritual. That's some kind of ritual, no?
What's the longest set that you got to play?
Well, before I was a professional DJ, I was DJing in bars, student bars, and they would open at 8 p.m., close at I don't know, 9 a.m.
Gee,
And I would work the whole night there, just play all night long.
that's insane. What do you do? But that was commercial music, I'm assuming.
House and techno and trance.
Really? So
Yeah.
how was that experience versus what you do today?
Well, it was really cool because I really learned how to, broaden my style, I would say. You cannot just play one style at a gig like this. And this still happens in my sets today, I would say. I can never stick to one genre for longer than, I would say, 15 minutes.
That's crazy.
I think some people hate it, but the people who love it, they really love it, It's kind of my sound. And apparently enough people do love it, so
Yeah.
I keep doing my thing.
How do you went from a completely different persona to who you are today, Farrago? Am I pronouncing it proper?
Sure.
Sure.
I don't even know.
Why did we make that transition? Is it just you growing as an artist and same process that you were going through?
Yeah, I think you grow as a person and also as an artist. You grow older, you get more different influences and impulses from around you. And I'm open to that. I don't want to stick to the same thing because I don't know. They do say if it works, you don't have to change anything. But for me, that's just boring. I like to keep growing and discovering new things and implementing those things into my sound, and it keeps it interesting for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you think you guys both influence each other musically into what keeps them?
We totally do, but that's also why at some point I decided to kind of split from touring together because I didn't want to influence her too much, and I also didn't want her influence on me anymore. Because obviously when you tour together, you want the night to make sense, if you play together one before the other, you have to kind of tell the story and you cannot just end here and start here again. So I felt like my sound was growing a bit apart from what Amelie was doing, and it was a good decision for me to make this step, because I started growing way bigger after stepping out of the shadow almost.
That's great. I think that's necessary too. But when you're with a person, you kind of mold, and then your sounds and your everything just.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling as well. In certain areas, I would say professionally, it's good to be able to do your own thing. You can always keep supporting each other. We still make music together. We can still play back to back or one after the other. It can still work. It's usually me after her because I play way harder and faster. But yeah, there's always a way to make it work for sure. But I do believe we made the right decision when we did it.
That's really, really cool. Well, I hope there's many, many more reincarnations of that, and then going through. I wanted to ask you one more thing. Do you actually have time to go back to the studio and actually work and put out records throughout touring so heavily?
You have to make time. There's a lot of offers coming in, and the weekends and even weekdays they fill really quickly. But we both me and Amelie, we kind of changed our philosophy of doing less gigs and just more quality gigs, and making more time to be at home, see family and friends, you know, studio time obviously. And I think this is the right way. Like I think there's a lot of mostly young people who just start doing this that don't really realize the toll it takes on your mind and body to just tour as hard as we also used to do, you know, like it's not a contest of having the biggest, fullest agenda, in my opinion. And of course with social media, people always try to compare, and you feel like you're missing out when somebody else has twice the gigs you have. But honestly, like, it's not really about the quantity as much as it's about quality, because if you don't have, let's say, a good video to share afterwards on social media, then the gig doesn't even make sense, in my opinion. Like, of course you play also for money, but money should be like on the side, maybe like second motivation, you know. The main motivation should be staying healthy and finding a good balance of like the amount of gigs you want to do, obviously the amount of money you need to live, but I think most DJs don't even need nearly as much as they're making, so yeah, that's kind of what changed in our heads after COVID happened, actually.
Yeah, no, I think COVID changed a lot of things for everybody and put things into perspective.
Yeah, they sure did for us.
Yeah, definitely. So do you actually have time on the road to do your song choice selections for festivals? Does it still make sense to go through that process? Or do you prepare everything before you know you're going to be touring super heavily and kind of rotate?
You lose so much time on tour in airports and in cars, and it's just a really good way of managing your time, you know, like when I'm at home, I just try to focus on the things I have to do at home, like, you know, like admin or whatever, being in studio, seeing friends and family, going to the grocery store, you know. But stuff like preparing my set, I mean, I'm gonna think about my set anyway when I leave the house, so I might as well work on it at that time, you know.
Yeah, no, that's great.
It does happen, of course, that you want to prepare a bit more at home because you know that the travel's gonna be tight, or there's like gonna be layovers, and maybe you're gonna have to run from one terminal to the other, and maybe it's short flights and you don't even want to bother opening up the laptop or whatever. There's always, you know, different scenarios. I do prefer working on tour because, as I said, it's just lost time anyway, and your mind's already on the gig as it is. At home, there might be other things occupying the brain.
Speaking of the brain, what do you think when you're on stage? Like, are you totally in the moment, taken by the energy of the crowd, or are you super technical and like really worried about what you're doing? Like, what goes through your brain?
Both, actually. Like, I don't really drink, I don't do drugs, I really stay focused on the job, you know. I mix sometimes about 30 tracks in 1 hour, so I'm always really busy. I even forget to drink sometimes. That's just the way I like to play, you know. I always have, I could use 6 decks if I could, you know, if they were there, I would use all 6 of them. I always have the track ready, I always know the next one, and I want to prepare it and I put the BPM correctly.
So you're super technical.
I'm like a scientist almost.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But then you have that moment when you're just about to step on stage and then you see the crowd, and what's that feeling for you?
Well, first of all, I'm of course always very grateful and happy if I see that there's a turn up, you know. I want the people there to enjoy what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I don't take that for granted at all, you know. I've come a long way. I've started for empty stages, and I've seen it grow, you know. So I'm super happy and blessed with the way things are going now, and that just translates into my energy and my music, I would say. I always feel very happy to be on stage and to be booked, you know. I don't take those things for granted at all.
That's really cool. So you're still holding on to your values from your core values from when you started playing, and it's still...
Yeah, for me it's nearly 20 years that I play, and it took a long time to get where I was because I also had a lot of sidetracking, you know, like I quit for like 10 years to find a real job because I wanted to buy a house, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like this. And then I would say now I'm like doing this again for like more or less 6-7 years, and it's going really well. I'm super happy, and I hope to continue doing this for as long as I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Favorite show?
Favorite show in general?
TV show? Yeah, when
Oh,
you're
TV
like
show.
at home doing nothing.
I don't know. It's I love to watch anime, as we discussed earlier. There's something about foreign languages that I don't understand that just suits my mind. I can't explain it.
Really?
Yeah.
Or do you listen to lyrics when you are listening to music, or do you listen to
That's
music?
the point. Yeah, I try to just listen to the music and not really listen to what they're saying.
I'm the same way.
It's like an abstract way of listening to music, but it's also why I love J-pop and even K-pop. Like I don't understand the words. I'm just listening to the sounds, you know.
That's very interesting. Because somebody could be murdered in a track and that I listened to for 10 years, and if the melody or the sound is good, I would not know. I had no idea
Yeah, I
that they did the same way. I feel like there's two different people that like either you're a lyricist or you're like do music, and that's the way that your brain works.
It's just very, I would say, tiring as a producer to listen to music because you're always like dissecting the sounds and like you see the timeline of the kick drum and the synth and the effects and everything.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to just listen and not like pay too much attention to it.
Well, I feel like you guys are headed into a very much deserved break. Hopefully before the baby's born, because once that baby's out, you guys are not gonna sleep for weeks.
That's what they say.
But it's gonna be, I feel like, maybe a welcome distraction for you and a bit of a change of pace. And hopefully you guys come back with everything that you have, and we have a little baby techno genius that's gonna.
Yeah, no pressure. I mean,
No pressure.
I'm not gonna pressure her into anything.
No, of course not.
I honestly always wonder these children of like famous people that did something particular like sports or whatever it is. How can you even, of course you're interested in what they did. The pressure of getting into the same business must be unbearable.
It is. I come from a lineage of really famous classical musicians, and I ran away
Why?
from it as far
Why
as I
did- oh,
could
from
in the
classical.
beginning from classical.
But
yeah.
I mean, even still choosing music as well as like a job
It took
still
me.
feels like
Yeah, it took a long time. I fell back into it by mistake, but yeah, it's a lot of pressure for sure when you come back from that. They have to choose however they want to, but I'm sure.
it's also hard to ignore like the genes, you know.
Yes, but I'm sure everybody will be waiting, and in one way or another, it's gonna be amazing. Well, thank you so very much for taking the time. I know you're super tired. One more question
Yeah,
for you: is it a handshake, a fist bump, a clap, or a hug?
I usually just let the person across from me decide. I just go with the flow.
You do? I'm gonna hug you then.
I'm fine with that.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
your
It was
time.
nice to meet you.
Likewise. I think we're good. Good night, you guys.